I've got gummy bears, Skittles, Chewits, Jelly Babies. Sorry.
Oof. Microphone noise, okay.
I've got gummy bears, Chewits.
Okay, there are audio issues on that one, so let's not use that take. Okay, so that... we can go from there, just for a second. Append that in. Just going to bring that in. There's a much better way to do what I just did. But okay, we can fix the timing in that in the second pass. So we have a beat on those. I'm going to clear this out. Just click this X here to clear that out again. And then I want my close-ups of Wayne again. Let's see, because I want to see Wayne's reaction to this, and then we can go ahead with the little monologue about what the dealer's got. So, okay, that's not the best response.
Please.
Okay, this one's got bad audio, but we don't necessarily need audio here. I like that response. So this one has bad audio, but we're going to fill this in. We don't actually need... actually, no, because we're going to have him breathing, so let's choose another take.
Please.
What are you after? I've got gummy bears.
Okay, cool. I like that reaction there.
I've got gummy bears.
Cool, and then we're just going to put that in there. Now there's audio here, which I don't want, but again, we're going to fix that in a second. Then we're going to go back to the CU of the Sweets again. And I think this first take was alright, actually.
What are you after? I've got gummy bears. I've got gummy bears, Skittles, Chewits, Jelly Babies. And I've even got some original Opal fruits.
Cool, so,
I've got gummy bears.
so let's see what we've got so far.
I've got gummy bears. I've got gummy bears.
So again, audio roughness down here, second pass, we're going to fix that, don't worry about it too much now. We're going to make sure that we can make all of this tie together quite nicely.
Skittles, Chewits, Jelly Babies.
So when she says original Opal fruits, I want to go back on to the close-up of her again. And I want the ECO, I want to stay inside the circle until they get caught by the trainer. Now I want to stay inside the circle because this is where we're getting quite dramatic. This is the kind of dramatic peak of this scene, which is the point where things actually kind of happen and begin to change. So
Gummy bears.
Do you have any?
okay, we've got random people talking in the background on that take. That's a shame.
I've got gummy bears, Skittles, Chewits, Jelly Babies. And I've even got some Opal fruits.
Now I want the original Opal fruits because they're called Starburst now. So original Opal fruits.
And I've even got some original Opal fruits.
That's a good one.
Yeah, talking about original ones, not going to be about. And I've even got some original Opal fruits.
Now the decision we've got to make here is: do I want her to deliver that line and for us to see that, or do I want to see Wayne's reaction to Opal fruits? Let's see what happens next in the script. Do you have anything raw? So the next line is Wayne's. So maybe instead of that, I want to go back to the close-up of Wayne instead of the dealer. So let's go back to Wayne.
Skittles, Chewits, Jelly Babies. I've even got some original open fruits.
Do you have anything raw?
Okay, I think I prefer that way of putting it together. So let's go with that for now.
Chewits, Jelly Babies. I've even got some original open fruits.
Do you have anything raw?
That's a much better delivery.
Or
So
anything about
let's give it a beat and put that in there. We don't get the opal fruits line in there. I'm going to put a marker down here to tell us that we have to put that audio in. We will cover that in the second pass.
Do you have anything raw?
And then there's a big wrestle, but we can cut that out. So,
Jelly Babies.
and then what we're going to do is we're going to put, and I've even got some original opal fruits in this little silence here.
Do you have anything raw?
And then we're going to go back to Nessa. So let's just put a marker down here. It's me being a horrible typist on my tiny little laptop keyboard. Right. So I've got that marker in there, so I know when I come back to the second pass, I know what I'm doing.
Raw.
And he does that kind of breathing. There we go, because there's a little... Okay, we can get rid of that all on one track. See, this is the beauty of splitting our dialogue into two radio mic tracks. This is the one, this bottom track here has all that noise on, and we can just cut that out completely and replace it with another track. We're going to do that in the second pass, though. We're going to do that later, don't worry. So, next part is he stares at her for a little bit. That's good. That lets him finish the movement. Another thing to avoid doing is cutting out halfway through a movement, which can be a little bit awkward. I want to let him finish that kind of intense little stare before I go back to the dealer. So, next one, dealer, maybe, but it'll cost you. So let's see what we've got on the close-up of the dealer. And remember, we've gone inside the circle now, so I want to go to the ECU, the extreme close-up, or the big close-up of the dealer here. I want to keep this kind of level of closeness until we have to either pull out for some action or until the trainer spots the two of them making this deal. So let's see what we've got. The next one is, as we've just said, maybe a bit it'll cost you. So let's see what we have on this take.
Maybe. It'll cost you. Let's look at it again.
We've got a little bit of noise in the background. When we build up our soundscape, we can disguise the people talking, so that'll be okay.
Maybe. It'll cost you.
Cool, so let's put that in there. Okay, a little bit slow, but we can fix that in second pass. So, maybe, but it'll cost you. And then we want the wallet again. So, we need to see Wayne before we jump back into another little mini montage. Let's get a close-up of Wayne and see what our response is like here. Oh, there's some odd spacecraft noise in the background there. Let's use a different take. Cool, okay. And then we know the deal. We're going to use a different angle this time. And then we want the right wallet. Okay, that's a good one. Want to make sure we can make out that there's a 50 in there. Let's just take a look. Cool. And then 50 notes being fanned out. Cool, so let's just take a look at this.
Of course, yeah.
Right, so the next thing we need is that we need the dealer to take the money. Now, as we've seen before, it's the wide and mid angles that do the best job of making the action readable. So let's take a look at a wide of the dealer. I'm going to check my description panel for W of dealer. Oh, and a mid, actually M. M of... And there we go. Mid of Wayne and dealer, almost full take. So let's see what we got. Cool, so... let's just take a look at this this take, see what we're dealing with. Okay, so this could be quite a big, awkward, long take. I like this point here where Wayne kind of looks up and away as she's kind of reaching for the special product. So that could be a place where we cut away as well. Let's take a look at the other take here. Okay, so we've only really got one take to work with here, so... So just as she's reaching into her coat, there... Cool. Reaches into the coat, then I want a close-up of Wayne looking away, so see you. See you of Wayne. Let's see what we got. You see how much time markers save you, yeah? Okay, that's alright. Let's take a look at this other take. Cool. And then we'll put that in there. And then we'll go back to mid of the Wayne and dealer. And then we'll come in here. Cool. Yeah. There we go, and that cuts in quite nicely. And then I want a reaction shot of Wayne once he's gotten hold of the bag of cookie dough. Cool. So the next line is a close-up of Wayne. That's the reaction we're talking about. We want Wayne saying it's warm. So CU of Wayne holding bag of cookie dough.
Action. It's warm.
Okay.
Action. It's
It's quite an awkward, creepy line, but what the hell? Okay, now these angles don't work. These angles were specifically shot so you can see him holding it and delivering the lines, so...
warm.
I want to give it a little bit of breathing room because he's about to get called out by the trainer in a second. Okay, I don't like that cut, but what we can do in the second pass, we can come back and we can smooth this out, so that's going to be okay. I think I'll probably end up cutting to this angle and then into this close-up, because at the moment it's this kind of from here to here. It's a bit of a jump and it doesn't quite work, so excuse me, we'll fix that in the second pass, but that's fine, everything's in place. Now we want the trainer to call out Wayne, so we're going to need to do a little bit of audio stuff here. We need to get a delivery of the trainer, so let's find the trainer.
Wayne! Don't do it!
Cool.
Yep. Wayne!
Let's just check the takes.
Wayne!
Okay, I'm set.
Wayne! Don't do it!
Okay, the first one's more urgent and authoritative. The last one's more kind of tragic, and I think I like the third take a little bit more.
Don't do it! Wayne!
Okay, cool. I like that, but we're not going to use the video from this. We're only going to use the audio. So you'll notice that if I mouse over here, these two little icons appear. Remember, we covered these earlier. This is to drag down video only. This is to drag down audio only. I'm going to drag down my audio, and I'm going to place it down here, and when I do that, it makes a new audio track, and this one is still mono, which is fine because it's dialogue. Dialogue always goes on a mono track, remember? And now what I can do, and I'm going to turn off the magnet for this because I want to be able to freely position things.
Wayne!
And then there we go.
Wayne!
Just so you hear her.
Wayne!
And then we're going to cut to a wide. I'm going to turn the magnet back on again, which turns on and off automatic snapping like we've already covered.
Wait.
So next thing I want is a wide or a mid, actually. So let's take a look at the mids because we're keeping it relatively close. I think this is the one that begins with...
It's warm.
And then we have that quick little cut there. Now, I need to be careful here. If I use an insert cut, like so, it's going to split the audio up and be a bit odd. Because there's something after the current playhead, I need to use an overwrite, which is F10, remember.
Wayne!
And there's a little bit of an echo there. Well, again, we'll fix that next.
Wayne!
Wayne!
And I might just...
Wayne!
Okay, so I'm happy with that call out there. So now I want to take a look back through these takes of the trainer again. I've just used the search window up here to filter them out. And let's take a look at what we got. So this is the one I've used.
Wayne! Don't do it!
I like that.
Don't do it!
So let's use this take.
Don't do it!
We'll just give it a bit of breathing room.
Don't do it!
Okay, that's a little bit long, but that's fine. So, we've got a few things that need to happen here. Now, the dealer has to run away, so she has to turn and run away, but a bag falls out of her coat, splits and jelly beans scatter across the ground. She scrambles frantically, picks up a few handfuls, stuffs them into a jacket and runs away. So that's the next bit. So, this next bit's going to be quite interesting to edit. We've got some important action going on, so that normally means a wider angle. We need to be able to see what is happening. So I'm going to go looking for a mid. So what I'll do up here, I'll go into the description, I'm going to filter out the mids, and here I've got a nice take, kind of middle angle of them running away. So let's see what I've got here. Okay, there's a whip pan and a whip pan. So I've got one take of the dealer running, so I'm going to have to use this one.
Don't do it!
So I really just want to cut in there because there's a bit of an awkward setup here. So, and then about there I can cut. Excellent, I like that. I like the way she's kind of caught mid-action there. That's good. So the next thing is to get the bag of sweets, the bag of jelly beans being dropped. So, I want to cut in when they're in. There we go. Okay, that goes on for a bit too long. And what we'll do then is we'll use that as well. Cool, so then the next thing we want to do is we want to take another look at her running away. Now, because she is running away and her running is currently important, that means we're not going to cut back into the same mid-angle just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to cut back to a wide angle, so... because we need to have a clear view of her running away. That's narratively important. Okay, big audio issues there. Cool, I like that. Now I've cut as Wayne is kind of looking back because I'm going to continue that action in the next cut. It's a little bit awkward this take because he kind of stays looking at empty space for a little bit. Actually, no, that's not true. Okay, no, he gives us a little kind of second or so. I want to do this a bit faster, so I'm going to cut there. And then as he comes back there, I'm going to want to continue that in the mid of Wayne next, because after we've seen the dealer running, the next most important thing to include in this edit is going to be Wayne's reaction to being caught. So jumping from this wide here to a close-up, probably a little bit of a big leap, so I want to use a mid instead. So there we go, that's a nice one. And we still see Nessa the dealer back there legging it in the distance, which I quite like. In actual fact, now I'm not too bothered about getting the dialogue in this bit right, because I can strip that dialogue off and put new ones underneath to get the timing right. I am not constrained by the fact that she's halfway through her delivery here. Okay, I don't care, because I can just fix all that later on. So that's cool. I like that. Let's see what we got. Now that's nice. What I can do is I can like make it look like he's just turning his head without that awkward little pause later on. And that's probably a little bit long. I think that's probably long enough. So I am going to get rid of that audio. I'm going to hit the magnet to unlink. I'm going to select the audio, sorry. I'm going to hit the chain to unlink, not the magnet. It's a magnet in Premiere Pro, which is why I make that mistake sometimes. And I'm going to get rid of that dialogue. Then I need to go back to the trainer. And this is the take we've been using.
Don't do it. It isn't worth it, Wayne. Neil with was it? It isn't worth it, Wayne. Neil with was it?
Okay, I like
It
that.
isn't worth it, Wayne.
Again, we just want the audio. So let's see how this
It
plays.
isn't worth it, Wayne.
Cool. Bit of an awkward silence in there, but we'll fix that during our track laying, sound design. So,
It isn't worth it, Wayne. It isn't worth it, Wayne.
cool. And that's when he looks back to her, and then, what's the next line?
What about all your hard work?
I'm not too keen on that final delivery. Let's check the other two takes.
You've come too far to throw. What about all your hard work?
Nope, not urgent enough.
It isn't worth it, Wayne. What about all your hard work?
I like that.
Oh,
Although this sunset in the background is going to be quite awkward for the colorist, but we're editors for the time being.
I don't-
And I say that as a professional colorist. Ugh, but yeah, you've got to tell the story in the best way you can.
What about all your hard work?
Cool.
It isn't worth it, Wayne. What about all your hard work?
Cool, and that cuts together quite nicely as well. It still sounds quite urgent. A little bit of an awkward gap there. Again, we'll fix that in second pass. So we're really beginning to get there now. We've got plenty of refinement and work to do, but we are really making good progress.
About your hard work.
So this is where we actually transition into the cafe scene. So I'm going to call it there. We're done with the second scene. I say we're done with the second scene. We are finished with the first pass of the second scene. And just you wait until we get to second pass. The last 10% of the work takes 90% of the time, as they like to say. So in the next lecture, we're going to take a look at the third scene. So click on through once you're ready.